Okay, so I think we're ready to start now. So hello everyone and thank you for coming today. Good morning or good afternoon based on where you are. So I would like to introduce myself first. My name is Katerina and I'm the sales representative for Hoteliga. This webinar is going to be hosted by me and my colleague Vicky. She is the sales executive of Hoteliga and together we will show you the features that can help to manage your properties. Now, for those of you who don't know us, hoteliga was born in 2014, and since then we have grown a lot over the years. Now, hoteliga is a PMS in the cloud system, which allows you to manage the operations of your hotel from wherever you are. It is a complete and simple system, and it is a 3-in-1 with its own booking engine and channel manager and PMS, of course. Now, something very important to mention is that as long as you have access to the internet, you can log into your Hoteliga account from wherever you are and from any device or browser you wish. Now, you also have the ability to be aware of what is happening in your property and to make any necessary actions and to make sure your customers have the best that they are satisfied and that the property is up and running perfectly. Now, also to let you know, we're going to have a Q&A session in the end. So if any questions come up, just write them in the chat and we will be able to answer everything. Now, without any further ado, I would like to introduce Vicky, that she is going to start with the PMS.
Hello, everyone, and thank you very much for joining. So as Katerina said, my name is Vicky, and we're going to start the presentation of our system with the PMS. So I just shared my screen. Katerina, can you please confirm that you can see my screen?
Yes, Vicky, I can see your screen.
Okay, so thank you, Katerina, for the introduction you gave just before. We're going to start, as I said before, with the PMS, and then we're going to move forward with the channel manager and the Hoteliga booking engine. So this is the homepage of the PMS. So once you log in to your Hoteliga account, you can see the screen, which is like a summary of today. Basically, you can see here your arrivals, and you can also do the check-in from here. Here you can see the departures, and accordingly, you can also check out the reservation by clicking the button. We could see that in both cases, the occupancy is updated in real time. So you can have a big picture in terms of occupancy anytime you want for your property. And here below, you can see there's the customers that actually have done the check-in and they are staying in one of the rooms. You can also access the reservation window from here, but we're going to see that from the calendar a bit later. Just to let you know that here for each reservation, we have a short summary. So you can see the basic data for the reservation, like the number of the guests, the number of nights, the board, the number of the room that the reservation is allocated, but also the channel in case the reservation came directly from the channel manager and the country of the guest. Also here we can see a small briefcase next to the customer's name, but you can also see different signs. For example, here there is an icon with multiple people, and here you can see a star. This is actually the possibility that you can have with Hoteliga to create your own categories with the icons you prefer, and then allocate the customers. This has a lot of advantages, as you can be aware of who your customers are, who your target group is, but you can also welcome your guests accordingly once the day of the arrival arrives. Here we have some shortcuts, and let's go to the calendar by clicking here to the shortcut icon. And here we're gonna move to the calendar. Let me go a little bit up. So here, actually, with those arrows, you can navigate along the calendar, and you can have an idea of your reservations, either it's past reservations or future reservations. Before we begin, let me tell you that this is a hotel demo account. This means that here the setup is actually according to a hotel setup. Here on the left, we have the room types. So for each room type, we have a unique color. So for example, let's say for the double rooms, we have the green color. And then you have here your rooms listed the way they are in the hotel. So either it's with numbers or with names. If you own a different type of property, for example, camping, a hostel, Airbnb apartments, management apartments, management company, or whatever property type you own, hoteliga is a fully customizable system. So basically the settings can be according to your needs and the type of your property. So no need to worry about that. Here we see the reservations, and we can see the reservations in 3 different ways. So for now, I have chosen to see the reservations based on the status. This means that I have chosen to see the past reservations, the checked out ones in gray, checked in reservations in green or blue, and the future reservations in purple. This is one way. The second way that you can see the reservations in hoteliga is according to the payment status. And the third way is according to the agency. So for example, all reservations came from booking.com. You could see them in blue, and all the reservations came from Expedia in red, for example. So this is actually, as I said before, according to the status. But we also see here the logo of each of the agency. So we see here the logo of Expedia and here the logo of booking.com. And we also here see the category icon that guest has been allocated to. Let's see what we can do from here. So if we click once on a reservation, we can just select it. And once we select it, we can come here to the management toolbar. And here we have some tools that we can do some actions for the specific reservation. So first of all, if you select multiple reservations, you can group them or ungroup them. So you can manage them all as one. And then you can split a reservation, copy a reservation, lock it, or even delete it. And you can also change the status from here. This is the second way you can change the status of the reservation. As Katerina mentioned before, there's going to be a Q&A session in the end, so please feel free to write if you have any questions or if you need to see any of these actions in more depth, so we can come back in the end of the webinar. So if we click once, we just select it. If we click twice on a reservation, we actually access the reservation window. And here we can do many different things for this specific reservation. So first of all, we have the basic data tab. This is just an example, but I'm going to tell you all the different scenarios. So here, basically, if it's from an agency, we're going to see the agency here pre-filled, because the reservation, once arrived from the channel manager, it's going to arrive with all the information pre-filled for you. So you don't have to type anything manually. So if the reservation wasn't actually from an agency, but it was a direct reservation, here you have your own list. Any list you see in hoteliga is fully customizable, so you can have your own options. And basically the reservation source is all the ways you can receive direct reservations. It can be a walk-in, a phone reservation, an email reservation, or even from social media nowadays. So let's go back to the initial example and select Airbnb from now. So here you have the basic data. And as I said before, all the list can be adjusted to what you offer to your guests. So here we have some board options. And here we have the normal price and then the agreed price. The normal price is the price that comes directly from your price list. And actually, it's being calculated based on the fields that we can see here above. However, in the agreed price, you might see a different amount. So let's say 1,700. This means that you gave directly an offer, a discount to your guest, and you eventually agreed on a lower price with 10% off. Here in the balance, in case you have taxes that are calculated on top of the total price, you will be able to see them here, which is very good. In case all your taxes are being calculated in the price, then don't worry, you won't see them as extras in the balance, but we can do the setup accordingly, and all your taxes are going to be included in the price. So in case the reservation wasn't a direct one and you weren't the one who offered this discount to your guest, but the reservation was, as we see here from Airbnb, or let's say from booking.com, and you would receive it and you would see that here this guest actually got a discount of 10%. Here you have this field named Note from Channel, and here you will see all the information related to the reservation coming from the channel manager. So basically here, the system will also justify the discount. For example, this 10% might be that the guest was a Genius member and he got 10%, or maybe he made the reservation through the mobile app of the booking.com and he got this discount. So here you would have access to all this important information coming from the channel manager, while below you can write any information you wish for this reservation. You also have a note field under the customer level, because you might need to write down something very important for your customer. By the way, here it's the categories I mentioned before. So now we can allocate, for example, Willy Paul to the honeymoon customers, because this is the reason he might visited you. So let's save the reservation and see what we can do from here. So first of all, if I go to the messages tab, we have two options here and two ways of communication. One is the messages tab. And this is actually the chat that you can see inside the extranets of both Airbnb and booking.com. Once the guest types something to you via the chat in one of those two extranets, you will be able to see the message also here. And you can also see here the history of the communication, and you can also reply from here to your guest. So there is no need to visit both extranets and check all the time the chat in case you got a message. You can keep the communication up from here. You also have the email tab, which is very important because you can have as many templates of emails as you want in any languages as you wish. So for example, let's say that we want to open the thank you email. Of course, you can have a confirmation email, you can have a reminder, and you can have a thank you mail, and if you want more. So let me make it bigger. So you can see here that the mail starts there Willy Paul. This means that we work with some variables, and you can select the variables you would like to add. So automatically information from both the reservation and the customer are going to be retrieved and being displayed here in the email. So again, no need to waste time and type anything. Another important thing to mention here is that this actually email works like a normal email. So you can have photos, you can have your logo, you can have hyperlinked words or links, as we can see here. And you can also edit the email before sending it, because it's special and unique, and maybe you want to actually modify the email accordingly. So what you can do as well is that you can make this process automated. So for example, the thank you mail might be a good idea to be sent, for example, 5 hours or 8 hours or 2 hours after the checkout. So as soon as you can, so you don't actually make the guest waiting for a follow-up, or also you might want your guest to have all the memories he gained in your property very fresh, and then write the best review he can for you. And this can work also as a reminder to remind him to write a review in TripAdvisor or Booking.com for his stay in your property. So automating this process will save you a lot of time and will keep this communication with your guests consistent, which is something very important nowadays, that we have many things to do and we might forget something. So these two tabs are actually referring to the communication, and let's see what we can do more from the reservation window. And I'm going to go through the invoicing process. So one very important thing you can do from the hoteliga PMS is the invoicing. And you can actually invoice from inside the reservation window. So again, you won't have to fill in anything. To show you this process completely, I would like to start from the Extras tab. If you're offering to your guests any extra services or other upselling products or experiences, you can have a list here with all the options that you do offer to your guests. And then you can add this extra charge to the reservation. You can see there is a unit price here and you can just change the quantity, or you can just select the way you want this extra item to be calculated in the reservation. This is just an example for now. If I go to the cost breakdown, so we added basically a white wine bottle here. And if I go back to the cost breakdown, I can see all the reservation charges. So first of all, I can see the total amount of the reservation. In the extra charges, I can see the bottle of wine I just added. And here I can see the taxes that are calculated on top, if that's the case in your property again. And then we can see here the balance. What we would really recommend, because it's very important to maintain the balances of your customers and to track and monitor any payments you receive. So what we do really recommend to you is to register any payment you receive from your guests, either it's down payment or it's a full payment. So if I come here to the payments tab, I can just quickly add this payment. Let's imagine that the customer paid actually the full amount of money. So I'm going to insert the amount of money here and the payment method the customer paid. I can just click save here. If I would have received a down payment of, let's imagine 500 euros, I would have followed the same process, typing 500 here, and then I would add a new payment, so one more registrant, and add the remaining amount. So the balance in the end would be 0. So now the balance is up to date. And now I can come here to the final invoice button and actually issue the receipt to my guest. Here we work the same ways as with emails, so with templates. So basically I can have here as many templates as I want, because I can have them in many different languages, or I can have one option in 2 languages, for example, whatever you prefer. This is just an example for now. I can add a note if I want to, an extra note on the receipt or the invoice. And here I have a preview. I have a preview, which is very important. So it prevents me from making any mistakes. I can see here all the items and descriptions. Here again, I have put some variables. Of course, you can select the ones you prefer. And once I'm sure that everything is correct, I can just proceed to issuing the invoice by clicking this button. Once I issue the invoice, I can just print it and give it to the guest. Or if I want to follow a more environment-friendly approach, I can just send it to him by email. And of course, I can save it in my computer as a PDF or as an Excel file. Of course, here inside the reservation window, I can see again all the invoices that I have issued and print them again if there is a need. There are more tools for the reservation window. I just wanted to show you the more important ones. Of course, if you work with down payments, this option is going to be very, very helpful for you, because here you can register all the down payments you have agreed with your customer to receive at a future date. And then there is a report that you can monitor and print it and check what payments you have received and which payments are the remaining ones. I saw someone raised his hand. I would like to ask you to write any questions you have in the chat, and I can get back and answer the question for you. Because the webinar doesn't give us the ability that you can turn on your microphone. This is the main reason. So please write your question and I would be more than happy to answer your question. One last thing about the reservation window is that here you have also a folio and a registration card button in case you work with registration cards and you print them out so the guests can fill them out for you. Let's close the reservation window and let's go to the next very important functionality, which is the one of the housekeeping. So we have two ways to monitor the housekeeping, and we know we want to monitor housekeeping closely because this is something that will help your property stand out. Here next to it's one of the rooms, there is a bin, and this is going to be the first way we can monitor the housekeeping. This bin shows in real time that all the rooms are actually need to be cleaned. We have more icons, so we're going to see them in a bit. So this way, it's the online way, so we can actually be aware of the housekeeping status of each one of the rooms at real time, and it requires that the housekeeping staff actually has a smartphone, or maybe you have a common tablet in your property. So let me show you how this works. If I go to tools here, so if your housekeeping staff log in from the tablet or the smartphone he has, he can only, or she can only see that page with all the housekeeping stuff that they need to do. Once they clean on a task, so let's say that they start from room 104, because it's going to be a departure, so it's normal that they want to prioritize that room. Once they start cleaning that room, they click once on the task. And if I go back to the calendar, we know that we can be aware real time that the room is now being cleaned because there is room here. So I can have an idea and about the cleaning status of each room. Once the housekeeping staff is done with a specific room, they can go back to their smartphone, click one more on this specific task, it becomes green, which means the task has been completed and they can proceed to the next room. For example, here, this actually is being illustrated because next to this room, we're gonna see a sun. This is the online way, I'm saying it again, and if your housekeeping staff doesn't have this possibility to use smartphone for this specific functionality, or for any other reason, this way does not work properly for you, we do have the traditional way, which is through the reports. If I go here and click options and then go down and click reports, I access all the reports of the system. Here there are many reports. We're gonna see some of them a bit briefly very soon. But here, because we have a lot, it's more than 135 reports. In the beginning, you can have your 10 favorite ones for a quicker access. Then the rest is divided into categories. So after you can have reports for your reservations, for sales, for customers, for travel agencies, for invoicing, and for many, many other actually daily works and you need to do. However, we do have also reports that might help you reach specific conclusions you want for your property. And we do also own some reports that can help you make more strategic decisions for your property, because without those reports, you're not going to have a very clear picture for all your departments of the property. Let's go back to the housekeeping report though, which is number 18. And I'm going to open this report from here. And what I'm going to say now actually is for all the reports we have in the system. So here you are able to select the dates the system can give you data for. So either it's a past period of time or it's a future period of time, because maybe you want to check your predictions. So here you can select your dates. You can select if you want to see the data for all the rooms or for a specific room or apartment, of course, or villa or whatever your property is. And then you can see the report on your screen. You can print it out or save it directly as a PDF or Excel file. Let's see it on the screen all together. So here you basically have two tables. The first table is for your departures. And This is going to be in different tables because in case of an arrival on the same day with a departure, the arrival would be displayed here, and this is very, very important for your housekeeping staff to prioritize those tasks. And then you have your parcel cleaning tasks, so it can be changing the linen or changing the towels. And once you set those tasks up in the system, so for example, if you change the linen every 3 days, when you set this task in the system, all the relative tasks are going to be displayed here accordingly at the frequency you selected. So let's go back to the report.
Vicky, should we also show the occupancy report, which is very useful?
Yes, sure. So we have, if we want to go for the occupancy report, so we have multiple options. So I'm going to show you this one, as I said here, and this is actually very important. Why? Because we have a very analytical report for occupancy, and this is not the one. This is actually if you want to have a very quick picture for your occupancy, because you might not have time, and maybe because you don't want to go into detail for now. So if I select here the period of time, let's say from the 1st of July till today, for all the rooms, and we want to see the occupancy report on our screen. So some room types are closed, so please ignore the black ones. So here we have different shades of colors. So basically, the more red the color is, the higher the occupancy is. And here you can have a very quick overview. For example, if I go down, I can see very quickly that this room type has a very high occupancy for the biggest amount of time we selected. Well, these room types are always zero, so we might consider changing the price or giving a promotion maybe for these room types. And basically, this is for your daily overview of the occupants. We have many reports that actually will help you realize the status of the property in many different aspects. So, for example, this one, the report number 55, can give you the same way as the previous one, a quick overview about the travel agencies, which is actually something very dynamic in nowadays, and we need to evaluate the performance and the collaboration we have with different travel agencies or tour operators at a very consistent time basis. And here you have also the table giving you all the data more analytically. So I think we covered many parts of the PMS. Please feel free to write in the chat any question you have for the PMS or anything else you would like to see in more detail, and we're going to come back. And let's move to the channel manager for now. I'm not going to change any systems, and by the way, because it's, as Katerina said, a 3-in-1 system, an all-in-one system, you don't need to have any other additional programs or files. You just have to be logged in here, and everything you will manage them from here. So if I come here, options, and then channel manager, let me tell you that this account is connected with booking.com, but you can connect all the channels you have decided to work with. So basically we have here the calendar button, and if I click on it, I'm going to see here booking.com room types, the room types that I have decided to connect with booking.com. And what I can do here is that I can change the prices, availability, and restrictions, and of course allotment amount from here without having to visit each one of the extranets separately. I can just come here and change the price for a specific date. For example, I can change the price to 200 for the 30th of July, or I can do a bulk update. So I can press here the bulk update button, and I can change the prices for a longer period of time for the room type I want. And I can set here the new price I want to give. So this information is going to go directly to all the connected channels. Of course, we have different options according to the way you have decided to work with the channels you're working with, but I'm just showing you the more common way. And here, of course, you can also close cells. So for example, if I select here allotment, I can say that for this specific room type, I can stop sales for this specific period. If I go back, let me explain you a little bit also how it works. If I go back to the calendar, I'm going back to the calendar in the PMS. This is the calendar that all the connected channels in the channel manager and also the hoteliga booking engine read in real time. So, for example, this reservation calling Frank from booking.com arrived in hoteliga from booking.com, and all the other connected channels are updated in real time in terms of availability. If this specific customer calling Frank would go and cancel his reservation, the reservation would disappear from the calendar at real time, so you wouldn't miss any opportunity receiving a new reservation for these specific dates. So the reservation would disappear from the calendar, and then availability would open at all connected channels in real time. And also the system would notify you about the cancellation fees the customer had to pay to your property based on your cancellation policy. So this is how it works. This is the calendar that all connected channels, including the hoteliga booking engine, read in real time. And it's a two-way connection. As I said before, as you can change also the allotment prices and restrictions from the channel manager to all the connected channels. Now I believe that we can proceed with the booking engine. So I think, Katerina, you can start telling us a little bit about the booking engine.
Yes, of course. Thank you very much, Vicky.
Of course, any question you have for the channel manager, please, again, feel free to write down the question you have in the chat.
Thank you, Vicky. So let's start with the booking engine. Now, with the booking engine from Hoteliga, you can get direct bookings from your website without any commissions. It is an independent page, so you can have a website and you can integrate it there by adding a booking button that can be called, for example, book now or book here. Now, additionally, we provide you with a code so you can have a widget in your website, and a guest that's interested, they can insert the dates they want, and then they can be redirected back to the booking engine page. So let me start by showing you what the booking engine page looks like. So here you can have a photo, you can have it in a very good quality, and your logo can also have the ability on the top of the page to redirect someone back into your website. Now here, as far as we can see, they can put the dates they want, and then they can proceed. Now, one great feature that the booking engine from Hoteliga has is that you can make and create offers for reservations made from the booking engine.
Katerina, give me 1 minute because I want to find a booking engine that has availability so we can see all the options.
Yeah, of course, Vicky, thank you.
But you can, of course, explain. I think I will be ready in
yeah.
2 minutes.
Of course. So like I was saying, this is a great feature because you can also make offers for reservations that are made from the booking engine, or you can even create promo codes to give discount to a specific person if you wish, or even in a group of people. And that, like I said, it's a great feature because, yeah. Vicky, is it ready, or should I just wait for you? So I don't want to move forward.
No, it's almost ready. And as you mentioned, these promo codes, I think it's going to be very interesting for you to also mention that this is going to be very interesting for you if you have your categories, as we said before, the customer categories. So maybe you can have different promo codes for each category, depending on what your targets are.
Yeah, so what Vicky said is a great point because you can actually create discounts either related to their stay or to the board someone chooses to have. Alternatively, you can create promo codes and give them to customers that stayed in your property, or you can even have them as a reward for customers that chose to stay again in your property, for example, or you can give them to new people, and that would be also a great way to attract new customers as well. So yeah, it is a great feature and it's actually very, very useful to have. So I'm just gonna wait for us to have the screen from Vicky so I can show you.
Yes, I'm ready now.
That's perfect.
So I believe you can see my screen.
Yeah, I can see your screen. So when someone selects the dates they want and they press search, they can see all the available rooms. Now, as far as we can see here, the availability, which is very worth mentioning, is updated in real time. So as the booking engine reads the PMS calendar, the same way as the channel manager works, like Vicky said before. So once someone finds a room they're interested in, they can click more and they can see all the amenities that are available. They can have photos of the room, and of course you can include text if you wish to. So everything you want the customer to see will be there. Along with the amenities that the room has, they can also see below the terms and conditions. And that's going to be based on the terms and conditions you have, and you can write everything there to have. Now, once they want to proceed to the next step, they press book now on the desired room or rooms they wish to have. Now, here you can also see all the extra services that your property provides. So, for example, you can have a massage, you can have transfer, or any other complimentary services you offer your guests with, and they can also book them from there as well. Now, after that, on the right corner, they will be able to see a summary and then proceed to the payment. Also, they're going to have to include all their personal information and select the preferred payment method. And once they click book, the reservation will come to the hoteliga PMS and all the information will be pre-filled. So you wouldn't have to add anything else. Everything they add in the booking page will go back to the PMS as well. So, and they will automatically receive confirmation email for the reservation they make. Now, for the payment methods, there are a few things I would like to mention because they're very important. Now, hoteliga supports all the traditional payment methods like paying in cash, in arrival or departure, a bank transfer of the full amount, or even down payment as well. However, we do support integration with many other online payment gateways like PayPal, 2Checkout, Braintree, and many others. And one last thing that is worth mentioning is that the booking engine does not work with any commission at all per reservation. It has its own fixed price and depending on the subscription package you have. Now, I think we covered everything for the booking engine as well. Now, I would like to check the Q&A session, Vicky. So, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So one last thing that we would like to mention before going to your questions is that we do also have our own API, and this means that hoteliga can also be integrated with other systems. So, for example, what another system could be? It could be an online check-in application. It could be a POS system. It could be a passport scanner, so the customer don't waste time during the check-in to give you all the personal data. And it could be any other system that we can actually discuss further with you according to your needs. We do also have many different partnerships that we have integration with your system. So, for example, regarding the channel manager, we do integrate with Room Cloud and SiteMinder, which both you probably know both because they are two of the biggest channel managers, I guess. And of course, some other systems that you can also see in our website.
And Vicky, we also have an integration with the application store SiteMinder, right?
Yes, correct. Also, our SiteMinder has its own application store, and they give you actually a list of many, many different applications that you can actually have a look because they can really enhance the quality of the services you do offer to your guests. So yes, we do have integration with all of them. So yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect. So let me go to the Q&A.
Please feel free to write your questions. We have now the 5-minute Q&A session.
And of course, for the booking engine as well, which I didn't mention before, any question you have or anything you want to see, please write them in the chat or in the Q&A session.
And actually, this is very important because either you have a question regarding the invoicing, or you have a question regarding the channel manager or the PMS, or a report or the booking engine, you need only to contact one provider, hoteliga, so you don't mess up with many different systems and files.
That's great. So, Vicky, I see a question here. Are we ready to start the Q&A?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay, so let me read that for you. So, the question is, when I issue the invoice, it also appears to my data to the tax office direct, or I have to issue an invoice from another platform?
Okay, this is a good question. So if we're talking about the electronic invoicing that it's now in many countries. Yes, so if you're talking about Greece and you can issue the invoice from Hoteliga and the invoice will be either in real time or you automatically upload it to my data, or you can upload to my data your invoice manually, either one invoice at a time, or you can do a bulk update. So yes, you can of course upload your invoices to my data either automatically or manually.
That's great. And now that we're also mentioning invoice, I see another question here. So it's a similar one. Is there a flexibility to select the taxes we have here? I'm assuming based on the country someone is.
Yes, as I said before, actually, because we do have customers in many different parts of the world, yes, you can customize the setup of the taxes according to your country's regulations and legislation. And taxation rules, for example.
Okay, so next question. Do you have a list with all the online travel channels you work with?
We do have a list, but I think it would be much better if you contact us and let us know which channels you are interested to work with or you are already working with, and we can then confirm that we do support integration with them, because we connect with more than 600 channels. So it might be a bit difficult because with some of them we have a direct connection, and with some others we offer connection through our partners, RoomCloud, Vertical Booking, SiteMinder, as we said before. So it might be easier if you let us know the channels you would like to connect.
And one more question I see here. So can we try it?
The system, I guess.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm not sure if you mean that, but yes, we do offer a demo version. So you can have a demo for 2 weeks. It's a free demo account. And of course, you can try everything besides the channel manager, which is connected in real time. And then if you decide to proceed, of course, this account can be converted to a customer account with all the information that you would have inserted by then. So it's a very good opportunity because actually you can do the setup in this time, and you can try and navigate in the system.
That's great, Vicky. Thank you for that as well. I don't really see any more questions in the chat. We can wait 1 or 2 minutes, but I think we've covered everything that was here.
Yeah, sure. If you have any other questions, this is the time, but you can also contact us later at sales@hoteliga.com. And we, of course, can arrange a meeting and an online presentation if you want to see anything in more depth. And of course, we can further discuss about your needs. and about how hoteliga can help you meet them. So of course, contact us, and of course, we're going to send the recording to you after the webinar. Are there any other questions, Katerina?
No, I don't see anything else. I just checked now. No, that was it. We've answered all the questions in the Q&A chat.
Okay. So I believe we're okay. Thank you very much for coming today to see our webinar, and we're gonna contact you soon with the recording, and of course, let us know if you have any other questions that come up afterward.
And also from my side, thank you very much for joining. It was a pleasure actually being here today. And so thank you, Vicky, as well for this beautiful presentation.
Thank you, Katerina.
Thank you. Yeah, don't
have a good afternoon or evening.
Have a good day, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.